Welcome, everybody. We're excited to run this webinar with you today about large format 3D printing for scenic fabrication, props, sets, scenes, you name it. We're excited to have with us today Bernard Sun, who is the General Regional Manager for Asia Pacific for Massivit 3D. Hi, Bernard.
Hi, everyone.
Great to have you. And also we have our honored guest today, Brian Liu, who is Deputy COO of SID Installation Art. Hi, Brian, how are you?
Hi, Kim, I'm good. How are you guys?
Very
Hi,
well,
everyone.
thanks. Great to have you here. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Bernard Sun. Thanks a lot, Bernard.
Thank you, Kim. Hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you for joining us again on our webinar. And today I'm here to present to everyone about 3D printing for scenic fabrications. Currently, business are getting more challenging and competitive, especially with the COVID-19 2020. To come out strong, business will require a new approach, finding new directions. That means the need to reinvent business models, strategy, and plans, trying to find growth in the pandemic. That applies to all companies, whether it's big corporation or small startups, are looking at ways to be competitive. For those as for customers in the scenic fabrications and visual communications, Massivit users worldwide are already expanding their offerings, whether it's be from scenic displays like the one that's done by composite image, as you see here from Australia, or whether it be to entertainment stage props or scenic fabrications for theme parks or even interior design decorations, like the props that's done by Media Resources Canada or the 3DR or even in Russia. Then of course, you also see customers doing special projects and exhibitions and special events. Next, then you of course also will notice some of those that are creating 3D molds for thermoforming, and then you also will have customers building prototypes like the famous David Bowie car by Maria 3D in France. You always notice the 3D models for retail designs like this giant perfume shoes by Composite Image in Australia. And lastly, of course, is the finishing 3D objects that's vinyl wrap, just like a car wrap, but like this big jacket by Media Resources in Canada. Our customers across 40 countries in the visual communication and scenic fabrication market have expanded their offerings with 3D printing. So what is we're hearing a lot from scenic fabricators, the main challenges, especially before COVID-19, our findings are complex manufacturing process, whether it be hand sculpturing or with other technologies like CNC, it can be 2 to 3 times slower and labor intensive, as they need to be, make a mold, which is the bottleneck process to traditional method. This results in long lead time. Now, it also becomes challenging to achieve accuracy with hand sculpturing and less flexible. I mean, too much time is spent on building the core structure, only left with limited time for finishing, which is actually the key value, the craftsmanship of the scenic fabricators. So business is so much competitive, that's the reason why more and more customers are exploring other technologies like 3D printing to address these challenges. The question is, why 3D printing? Well, 3D printing offers the following. One, of course, is creativity. I mean, any geometrics, freedoms of design. The other thing is compression of time. That means fewer steps on demand, and more important, of course, being able to do confidential stuff. First to the market, that's important. And lastly, of course, cost of error. Whether it be prototyping cycles or variations. However, this current 3D printing technologies does have limitations and challenges. And all 3D printing technologies currently are very, very slow. Of course, the other challenge that they're dealing with is with the huge size, complexity, geometrics, and left with messy environment. So the question then is, why Massivit? Well, we bring you the 4 S's. And the 4 S's is basically the size, the speed, the supportless, and savings. Printing big size is easy with speed. Now, once we crack the speed issue here, you basically see we're able to print in mega scale, meaning the print, example me is just like in the photo, that's a full scale 1:1. It only takes 6 hours. That is radical speed. Up until now, it was a fantasy, but it would have taken several days to glue together many, many small parts, which wasn't commercially practical. So what gives Massivit an edge is our speed. In our speed, you will see in the next comparison.
Bernard,
Yes.
if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to interject here, and maybe we could do a poll with our listeners to find out, in the case of all of our listeners, is turnaround speed or production speed often a very important factor in terms of winning projects? So I'm just going to launch that poll now. You'll see in front of you a screen where you can click on yes or no if production speed is one of the main factors that influences whether you can accept or win projects coming in. So at the moment, we have 80% that are saying yes and 20% not so much. Let's see, 60% of you have voted. So if we could get a few more of you voting, then we'll get a more accurate view. If you could just click on yes or no on your screen, that would be great. Fantastic. So now it's evened out a bit. Thank you for voting. It looks like 90% of you are saying that yes, production speed is highly important.
Wow. Yep. And thank you, Kim. And that's the reason why it comes to this slides where I just want to show you, just a comparison in terms of, 3D technologies out there versus, Massivit 3D. So this is a relatively small object, but yet it took 19 hours to print and it weighed 300 kilograms if you look on the one on the left. And the reason you notice there's a lot of support structure inside which needs to be removed and some waste. While for the Massivit, it took only 47 minutes to print and it was only 100 grams. So imagine the time it would take to print a bigger one. And more important, as I mentioned, here's another example of Massivit supportless. You see this object printed from the smaller part to the wider. So it prints from the bottom to the top. And it's actually printing at a 50-degree angle without any support. At the end, what's more interesting is that we're printing the top cover surface and there's no support inside the whole object. All other printing technologies would have required additional support for such a geometry. Now, just to show you very quickly, when I was saying about printing the top cover here, I'm just going to play this really quick short video just to show you fast forward how we're printing that top roof there. And you basically notice there's zero support inside when we're printing from outwards all the way inwards. So I know some of the question will be, someone will be asking is that, how is that possible? Well, before I answer that, I'm just going to kind of share and talk about, I'm going to share with everyone about Massivit. So Massivit's headquartered located in Israel, where it's a high concentration of high technology companies. It's similar to like Silicon Valley in the US. And the gentleman here is actually our co-founder, Gershon Miller. He's one of Stratasys, if everyone knows, he's the Stratasys founder, who also was the founder of Ethernet, that was acquired by Scientex and sold to the company HP. He's basically a 3D printing, entrepreneur, and he actually created Massivit during 2013. So it comes to that, when you saw that technology there, what technology we're using? Well, Massivit 3D uses a gel dispensing printing technology. For short, it's called GTP. It dispenses a string of polymer gel, which instantly solidifies using UV LED lights. The printhead moves on the XYZ movement that defines the location of the dispensing tip and builds layer by layer. Now, this gel is actually a patent and proprietary gel. It's called the diamond gel. This gel allows us to print hollow objects, which means it's lighter, less material cost, there's very no support structures, less waste. It allows you to print undercuts, roofs with no support structure. So as you saw earlier, we're able to print roofs without support. Some of you will be asking, how's that? So I'm just going to show you a quick video of the Massivit GTP.
Massivit 3D printing technology is the world's fastest technology enabling production of large volume parts. The printing head on Massivit 3D printers contains a dispensing unit which jets photopolymeric printing gel that is instantly cured by a 360-degree UV light system. During the 3D printing process, the gel viscosity varies to ensure both adhesion and perfect bonding with the help of UV curing. This facilitates rapid production of robust solid models and parts. Due to its high speed and the capability of the gel to cure on the fly, and unlike other additive manufacturing technologies, does not require additional structural support to be produced during the printing process.
So, other than lighter weight, lesser material usage, lesser wastage, the Massivit GTP technology actually prints at least 10 times faster than most technology out there. So not only printing is fast, but file preparation is also easy with the Massivit Smart software, as it reads 3D files from .stl to .objs and slices the models accordingly and is ready for printing. Now here I'm going to show you some of the applications done by customers worldwide, especially when the biggest advantage when it's complexity, like this huge bronze memorial that was printed by a customer in Israel by ES Digital and 3D Dreams. Or here's another example of this huge complex Canero that's printed by a customer in Argentina. It's 1.8 meter tall with lots of details. The sculpture artist said it would have taken 2 months or more to complete this structure. But with the Massivit, it took only 74 hours and weighed only 39 kilograms. The other beauty that they could print lots of parts and join it together with just the diamond gel itself as it bonds together. Now, not only just this huge incredible model, but you can actually also produce and print a lot in terms like mannequins or statues. Now, this also allows customers to print characters, like this huge Hulk that's printed by a customer Dangling Carrot Creative in US. Or even, like this Goku Dragon Ball that everyone knows, or whether it be Mickey Mouse, or on the right, this character that everyone knows is a famous character that's done by, Ellipse Clock in US. So other than being able to print characters, the other biggest advantage of the Massivit here is actually the uniqueness is that you're able to print illuminated objects. Just like this project that we did for Google in Israel, where we printed illuminated pianos. Now that's due to because we have the Diamond Gel 100 and it's translucent. So customers are able to, illuminate actual objects without producing amorphous. Like the one on the left is the bar named Story Valley in Melbourne, Australia, filled with illuminated mushrooms by Scene technology. Next to it was the Shanghai skyline, all 9 buildings illuminated with the tallest at 2.5 meter. Same with the 2.8 meter illuminated the dragon pillar that was done by customer Baichen in China. Here you also see our Thai customer QAds, where they printed the decorated rose flower arches for the exterior of the boutique hotel in Bangkok, Thailand. They illuminated all the arches with rainbow color LEDs. Lastly was the 2017 Rugby World Cup in Australia, where Composite Image produced 14 pieces of 2.3 meter illuminated rugby players that were displayed throughout key cities. So other than being able to illuminate, another key advantage is all objects printed are hollow inside and lightweight, like this flying car for La Scala, which is the most famous opera house in the world. It was done by a customer in Italy. So the car was only, this vintage car that was printed weighed only 50 kilograms. Also look at this huge realistic 1.6 meter by 1.6 meter seashell that was printed. It's weighted only at 30 kilograms. Now, Massivit is constantly developing new applications, and one of the the latest applications that we're creating are molds or castings for concretes. Now, this is possible with the new capability in the latest version of the Massivit Smart software, creating hollow prints used as a one-time concrete mold with external micro support. And as you can see the shapes here, we're able to print. So if they require complicated silicone molds, now they can print it in just one part. And here just shows you in terms that you can see that we're printing from the left, where it's the 3D printed mold is printed, and then the concrete is poured into the mold for casting. And after removing the mold, you have the finished product. Just to show some more different created molds and casts created, the concrete doesn't really stick to the printed material. So no release agent is required. Printed molds can be peeled off easily, even better with heat. This really truly allows virtually limitless complexity. Now, lastly, I want to show is that it actually also allows customers to create very unique designs, just as some of the stuff done by customers here. And this would have been very challenging with others technologies out there. But with the Massivit, the only limitation is your imagination. So all these advantages, thanks to the unique GTP technology that offers the 4 S's, again, as I said, was the speed, the size, the support list, and the super wide range of applications that enhance the offerings and expand the business. The feedback we get from customers, this technology allows them to branch out, differentiates their business by winning projects with 3D printing and winning new customers with 3D printing. Our customers worldwide have expressed to us that they have been able to differentiate their offerings with wider range of applications.
Thanks very much, Bernard. That's great to see the wide range of applications. What I'd like to do now is introduce Brian Liu, Deputy COO of SID Installation Art, one of our extraordinarily creative customers. Brian, we'd love to hear from you. First of all, what were the original incentives or motivations for looking into 3D printing or large format 3D printing for your business? What sort of projects and applications were you producing before adopting the large format 3D printer?
The main purpose is to reduce the lead time for handcraftmanship, just like Bernard mentioned before, because we were first build up this company by providing handcraftmanship to produce some outdoor exhibit or a large scale of building for demonstrate outdoor.
Fantastic. So I'll let you introduce your slides and some of the amazing projects that you've done over the last couple of years.
So thanks for having me here. It's been quite an honor to be here sharing with you. So in the following slides, I will be sharing some accomplishments and interesting projects from SID Installation Art. First, SID Installation Art was founded in 2017. A fabrication expert providing high quality 3D printing and post-production services from the very beginning of the product design, manufacturing, constructions, and final assembly could be all done by our turnkey services. So as you can see on the right side of the slide, these two are the last projects that before we introduced the 3D printer, and it takes very long time to construct it and assembly before the time that we hand it to our customers. The following slides, most of the projects are all using 3D printing, like this one. So outdoor exhibit. This project was a World Floral Expo in Taiwan, 2018, and the whole idea was to create an outdoor exhibit which could provide interactions to tourists or visitors to sit on it and take photos with. This whole project was printed by Massivit 3D and strengthen the structure by adding fiberglass so that it can bear the weight up to 200 kilograms. And this project is weigh 23.9 kilogram, and the printing time is around like 25 hours. But if we compare to the traditional way of making, it would take like 3 times longer than the producing time by 3D printers. The next one is I'm going to talk about the customization. This project was for in-house decoration, a cloud-like hanging lamps with the characteristic of material from Massivit 3D. It could also provide the illuminated features from inside out by using a lamp inside the products so as to fulfill the expectation from customers. So there are a total of 7 unique hanging lamps. Each one of them are weighed around 2.7 kilograms, and the printing time is around 1 hour. So it's pretty fast by using 3D printers than by handmade. Gaming figures. I assume that some of you might have played or at least heard a popular mobile game named Arena of Valor. And this gaming company would like us to help materialize 2 characters. And this was also a great opportunity for SID to use 3D printer to make the figures, apart from the old way of making. And not only could reduce the manufacturing time, but also could be more accurate on every details. So as you can see, before the painting, pretty much all the details are delicately presented by 3D printings. So as the next slide, Monkey King. So you see how delicate detail that a 3D printer could provide it by Massivit 3D. So I suppose this project would be the most well-known projects around the world. One Piece to 20th anniversary exhibition and touring started in Taipei last year. Total, there were 24 characters were made by 3D printers. Figure size from 3 feet tall up to 12 feet tall. So that we could see there's basically no limit for 3D printers to make such a large size figures or objects, which is also one of our advantages, providing large scale 3D printing. So the largest one, as you can see on the left bottom of the slide, is weigh 210 kilograms. The printing time is around 168 hours. Compared to the traditional way of making, it might take months to produce such a great large size of products. And next one is just to show you how we size this model into several pieces and put it back together by 3D printer. And this is the post-process factory that we have. So you see every object was after post-processing and then assemble back together into the final product for exhibition. And this one, I think it's also an interesting application field for 3D printed figures, projection mapping. Instead of painting color for the object, customer first wanted to have a projection mapping to display the character in the museum. So next slide would be a short clip, just to show you briefly how this working for displaying in the museum. So it's quite a different application field for 3D printing. Okay, and so this one, the following start from here. The following slides will be a little bit different from the projects above. Not about figures or the exhibition. It's more about 3D printers can reach to the technology industry for consuming products or marketing showcase. Like this one, it's a vending machine from the gaming company called Gamania, and we help them build up the case by 3D printer and assemble the components like the display screen or touch panel into this final vending machine. And this one would be displayed inside their store for the gamers can top up their gaming point cards or buy some gaming features for their own game. And this slide shows how we use 3D printer, Massivit 3D, to create the models, 3D models inside for printing. So this one is also one of the coolest projects we've made so far, gaming cockpit for Computex Expo in Taiwan 2019. It's for a stage exhibition, but actually the player could play the computer games inside the cockpit, which is a very cool experience. And you can see the main body, next slide please. The main body is printing in several parts and put them back together while using a layer of fiberglass and metal frame to support and strengthen its structures. This whole project were weigh around nearly 100 kilograms, and the printing time is around 70 hours, not including the post-process. But compared to the old way of making, we must create some molds to create the whole structure first and then put it back together. It might be very time consuming. Next one is the most complicated project that we have by far, computer case. It has more than 100 different designs and also made its debut in Computex Expo in Taiwan. It has complicated structure design, so it'll be really challenging to make it in handcraftmanship, like modeling or molds creating. But with 3D technique, an object like this, we could split it into several pieces for simulation, just like the next slide was showing. So you see, by using 3D modeling, we could do some simulation and slice it into several pieces and print it separately. Also assemble them into final product for selling. And this is also an ongoing project that we have by taking orders from customers, and we will help them produce this consumer product of computer cases. And just for you to know, the design was inspired from a chrysalis or cocoon. It just like symbolize a nature. Every case or every species is different and unique. So each one of the computer case is one of the kind. And I believe some of you might be wondering why choosing Massivit 3D. Well, there are four main reasons. First is lead time reduction. Second, fast manufacturing. Third, accuracy. And the last one, innovative. Because if we choose to make it in traditional way of for above the projects, it will be very time consuming, either in modeling phases or molds creating phase or processing. But with 3D printing technique, we could directly modify the projects in the modeling software and see the simulation result and then print it at one time. Also, because it's all done by computer calculation, it could also provide a very accurate, provide the accuracy, either in size aspect or material usage aspect. And last thing is innovative, because this technique is a new way of manufacturing. It's a whole new revolutionary technology, because most of the customers are pretty interested in 3D printing and are willing to give us a try to use 3D print to help them create that. And also the outcome turns out great and give us more motivation to keep improving our process and application so as to deliver more higher quality products and services. In addition to that, I personally have to thank for Massivit 3D because their excellent support and their supporting so that we could get used to these techniques smoothly after implemented the 3D printer.
Thank you very much, Brian. Fantastic. We internally have been incredibly impressed by all of your projects over the last couple of years.
Thank you.
And I'd like to open up to some questions from our attendees, from our listeners. If any of you have questions, please let us know. We already have a couple of questions here. Brian, if we could ask you, there's a question here from Suti Chai. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. What type of 3D design programs or software are you using at SID Installation Art?
For now, with the 3D modeling software that we're using, mostly are Rhino. Yep.
Okay, great. And how has the process been with the slicing software, the integrated slicing software? Was that relatively easy or challenging to learn at the start?
Well, to be honest, it is based on the experience, and because the more that you are using the 3D printer, you get more familiar with it. So you will know how to slice the project or the product in order to make the printing process more easily and more smoothly. Like if you slice an object from the center of half, sometimes it creates the advantage to print to reducing the time, but when it comes to detail, it might be a possibility that the appearance might not be printed that well. So it depends on the object so that you could understand how to slice it and how to print it. But
Okay, great.
before that, you can all do the simulation within the software of the Massivit 3D. It could provide some simulation result and how difficult it would be printed or how easily it could be printed.
Thank you very much. And Bernard, a question for you from our listeners. How are the majority of our customers bonding parts together in cases where more than one part is printed?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty easy. Most of the customers, even like Receipt, where they have a lot of experience, they basically are able to bond the parts together by using our gel itself, which is the diamond gel. So they can apply the diamond gel around the parts and bond them together with a handheld UV light.
Fantastic. And Brian, another question for you. After the printing process, we have a question here. Is the process the same as you would be applying for CNC or hand sculpting in terms of sanding, chemical coating, painting, and so on?
I have to say it's quite similar because using 3D printing, the project must has stack lines. So you have to sand it to make it the appearance smoothen the appearance of it. And the next process will be strengthening by coating some layer of fiberglass, for example, and then printing.
Okay, great. And then another question from Parag Agrawal. What material is being used for printing on the Massivit 3D printing? Bernard, I might let you speak about that one. What is the material made of?
So the material that we're using is a photopolymer gel, and that basically it's a gel itself, and it's instantly solidified once it's exposed to a UV LED light at 380 nanometer.
Fantastic. Let's see if we have a couple more questions. Mark Newell, is the 3D gel waterproof and UV proof for outdoor use?
Well, it's definitely waterproof because it's a gel, and once it solidifies, it becomes a hard item. So, for example, this bottle, it just instantly hardens. Now, in terms of, I think the last question was it UV proof. So, was it UV proof? Was that the
Yes.
last question?
Yes.
So, it's basically cured with UV light, and unless you're basically saying I'm going to put this outdoor under the sunlight, that most customers would apply additional coating for outdoor durability, but it's instantly solidified and hardened. So it's definitely waterproof. I would say it's UV proof.
Thank you. And Brian, another question for you. Where are we? How about this is from Wirat Lerdprom. How about the strength and durability of the printed objects? For some of your projects, let's say the One Piece exhibition and some of the other projects, how have you found the durability and strength? I guess it's also related to what sort of post-processing is done, but I'll let you answer that one.
Okay. Actually, before implemented the 3D printers, we are specialized producing the large scale of the products, like the slides that you saw on the first slide of my presentation. It was created by a fiberglass and put some coating to strengthen the structures also, and put some metal pole inside to make it more solid. And these were all done before implemented the 3D printers. So actually we are quite experienced are making such a large scale product. So if I may say so, it's quite an advantage for us to combine these two techniques and after implement the 3D printers. Hope that answered the question.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Yeah, thanks a lot. And then one more from, sorry, I'm just finding it. Parag Agrawal again. Bernard, is the printing gel readily available on the market?
Well, that's a question I always get. The gel currently, it's as I mentioned earlier, it's a proprietary gel itself, and it's available from Massivit. You can get it from all our partners worldwide from Massivit, but it's not like a gel that you could just buy it out from outside easily. It's not an open source gel itself currently. But that's what makes it very unique, and that allows us to print at really high speeds because of this gel.
Brilliant. So I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Bernard Sun and Brian Liu, for your time today.
Thank you.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to email us via the invitations, the webinar invitations that you've received. We'll be happy to answer additional questions. And we'll also be sending you the recorded webinar in case you'd like to review some of the projects or technicalities that were overviewed today. Thanks very much, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you for everyone. Hope it's helpful. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.